track renovation, because over time, particularly in controlled traffic farming systems where you go over the same track more than once, you can start to fill a rut. Or in wet conditions, particularly after soil renovation, you can get big ruts as well, and they can be up to 2 foot deep, so these need to be smoothed out for future operations.
I'm Cameron Johnson. We farm about 4,500 hectares in the Ogilvy region of Northampton, WA. We started controlled traffic farming around 2013, 2014. Research was telling us that there was a yield benefit in having less compaction in the inter-row between our machines. We started Tramline renovating for the simple fact that we weren't getting great establishment behind the machines, obviously where the wheel tracks are. Other reasons are for safety during harvest. If we do have fires or anything, it's easy for the local brigade and whatnot to drive across the paddock and not damage vehicles.
High rainfall areas and sandy soils often need more track renovation because the machines operate in the paddock when it's wet, and this can form different types of ruts. So some ruts that occur in really wet on heavier soils, you'll get more of a splashing up of the soil, whereas in sandy conditions after amelioration it'll sink and that forms a deeper rut. When you're going to do tramline renovation, you need to think about what type of ruts you've got and what type of soil, and that'll help you determine what machine you need. Some of the commercially available machines that I know about do operate a little bit differently and have different components. So some will have discs that will cut and fill the tramline, and will have a roller behind that packs it in. Others operate more by bringing in soil from the outside with an auger, and then we'll have a flat wheel at the back, a heavier wheel that presses it in and refirms the soil. And other renovators will have a combination of both.
We chose a Nucky renovator for the simple fact that we've got a varied soil type on our place. We've got everything from heavy clays and rock country to light sands, and it seems to do a big variation in soil type. The renovator itself will pull in some dirt from the outside. It'll then compact it slightly, spread it back out, and then there's a roller at the back that will then do a finishing compaction and bring a little bit of stubble to the surface to avoid erosion. We have had to modify our machine slightly for our soil type. We have widened the soil throwing blades at the front to bring in more dirt. One thing to consider with this machine is that it is quite heavy, so you do need a bit of a larger tractor to put in front of it.
Typically, track renovation works best when the soil is slightly moist. So some growers do find they have an opportunity at harvest time, if we've had a wet harvest, to get in there straight after harvest and do track renovation. It does work when it's dry, but you just also need to be mindful that you're leaving some cover and it can't blow away.
We generally renovate before our canola and lupins to help with establishment. We want the seed depth to be right, and also we generally deep rip in front of our wheat, so we're going to make a rut where we've been ripping. We normally undertake tramline renovation in the summer period, typically if we can closer to seeding as to avoid erosion. We've got spare time that time of the year to do it, and also if we get a big heap of wind or something during the summer period, we can end up with some bare strips in our paddock.
The longevity of tramline renovation really depends on the season and the seasonal conditions. So we'll find in wet seasons the period between renovations will be a lot more frequent, whereas in dry seasons we don't tend to get the same ruts formed. So you might not have to do it every year, and you also might not have to do every wheel track every year. Usually it's only the main traffic tramlines, the spraying tramlines, that we see the biggest damage.
I think the time that it takes is worthwhile. It doesn't necessarily take a huge amount of our time compared to the rest of the program. You know, you're talking 4 or 5 days, it's a week of someone sitting in there, and we do get a better establishment behind the seeding bar.